I want to share with you before I head out here and get packed up. I want to share with you some awesome stuff that happened with me at Georgia Bushcraft. My buddy Craig and I, COP Bushcraft, went to Georgia Bushcraft again, and this was I don't know, several years in a row now that we've gone. This was our second year for a booth, and this year went big and did two booth spots, and so hauled up two 10 by 10 green canopies that took up an unbelievable amount of room, 4 tables and our chairs and all of our gear and our teepee. And we literally packed my Forerunner full. Like we stopped like 30 minutes before getting there. We didn't get any water, and we literally couldn't cram in like half-gallon jugs of water. We didn't know where it would fit, so Craig put it under his feet. But anyways, it was a lot of fun, but it definitely was work. It was more work this year than what it was like the other years before. So I think we're going to stick with one booth next year, and we won't have to bring as much stuff, and it just gives more freedom, like to move around. I really liked having two booths because one side was dedicated for like teaching, but I didn't get to. I mean, I think I walked around maybe 3 times. As these airplanes come in, I'm going to talk really loud so that I don't have to. So that you can still hear me. But I think I walked around maybe 2 or 3 times. I never got to walk around the whole thing. There are tables that I never saw. It was also way bigger, but I came back really grateful. Really, really grateful. The amount of people that reached out, came up and talked about all kinds of stuff, shared with me beautiful stories, invested time in me, and poured into me. That really gives me a lot of energy. That really gives me, fills up my cup. So everybody that came by and talked, and the wonderful stories, I won't forget that. It really, when I got back, it really made me just, full of joy, sharing it with my wife and everything that happened. And that's what's so special about that event, is the people that are there and the community that you make, and the friendships that you make. But I was gifted some really cool stuff that I want to share, and just shed some light on these people, because they're wonderful people, and they felt inclined to give, and I traded with some people. I traded some stuff that I had. It was just a great time. So my buddy Tom at Knives by Nuge gifted me this knife. This is his chickpea model. It's in Nitro V, and he gifted me this because this was the first knife that he did with entire glow scales. He knows that I'm a glow nut, a glow in the dark nut. So all these scales, the whole thing, the handle glows blue. Sweet little knife. It is a laser. I mean, the edge on this is just super good. Craftsmanship on this is awesome. And I want to get some Kydex for it. Because I think this could just make a fantastic kayak and fishing knife. Really, really like this. Comes in a really nice Badger Claw leather sheath. My buddy at Badger Claw, John, he's been doing this for years and years, and his stuff just has gotten better and better. But it's just a basic sheath with a belt option loop that you can run. You know, I don't run it cross draw, but that's the option. But yeah, the chickpea knives by Nuge, awesome little blade. Thank you so much, Tom. It means a lot that you felt like giving this to me. Thank you. Next, my buddy Taylor Putnam reached out and said that he wanted to trade. I have different beads and jewelry stuff and some trade bead stuff, and he wanted to trade. So he basically just came by first thing and was like, "Hey, I really like this, and then pick me out this and this, and what do you want from me?" And I knew that he had spent some time making bearing block handholds out of micarta. And so he gave me the option to pick out of the 3 that he had, these arrowheads. And they are so sweet. That is such an awesome idea. I don't know if he did this on purpose, but these grooves right here, your fingers pretty much just fit in them perfect. And it's going to work great. I'll definitely be doing some bow drill friction fires with this. Yeah, it was a great trade. And then he also was like, well, here, and this is an end piece, like a cutoff piece of some Damascus that he made. And he did a Clovis point out of it. So I guess if I wanted to, I could put an edge on it. It'd be really hard. It's hard steel. But it's just like a pendant or, you know, just a little keepsake. It's awesome. I did use this to drill during when I was playing with some hand drill material there at Georgia Bushcraft. I did use this to drill my divot into my hearthboard. So these 2 things from Taylor Putnam at Taylor Grinds, awesome. And I'm going to link all this below so that you can go and find them and follow them and support them. But that was an awesome trade. I'm rotating you as the sun moves around. And the last thing that I just grabbed, I have more stuff that I can share later, but I just didn't want to be, you know, I didn't want this to be all about look at this stuff kind of video. But this is probably one of the most special knives that I've ever purchased, and it's just because of who it came from. You know, I associate a lot of stuff together. I think that if something happened, you know, in your past, and then there's something that comes up that's kind of similar that reminds you of it, like you should stop and think about that for a second. Like, especially with people, like someone incredible that was in your life that may not be in your life anymore, or if they passed away, or life just got in the way and you moved, and then there's somebody that comes back into your life that reminds you of that person. There's something that should be said about that. You should dwell on that and be grateful for that. And that happens a lot. That when you think about it, you'll realize it happens a lot more than what you realize. But my grandpa was not a knife maker. He loved knives, but he never made knives. But there's been many men that I've met since he's passed away that remind me of my grandpa. Certain little things, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they talk, or the way that they do something, or their humor, or, you know, that'll happen the rest of my life, you know, with special people. And the first time that I met Mr. James Gibson, I instantly felt, and he doesn't know this, and it's not weird for me to share this. I think it'd make him smile. I instantly just felt kind of the same presence that I would have with my grandpa. He didn't say things or do things like my grandpa, or he doesn't, but just me feeling like a kid again, like me being around somebody that's just so cool. It just enamors me, and I want them talk to me about stuff and show me stuff and share me stuff. Like, it's that kind of thing. And I know that Mr. James Gibson is a knife maker. He's a heck of a knife maker. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a master bladesmith, ABS master bladesmith. He's been making knives for a really, really long time. Sun was starting to creep in. And for the life of me, I don't know why I haven't gotten a knife from him. And maybe that'll be revealed later. But at the end of Georgia Bushcraft last year, there was a couple of people that had gotten knives from him. Like, they kind of ordered, like, placed an order with them, and it, you know, he's a one-man show. But he does it all. And they'll get their knives at Georgia Bushcraft. And so last year I saw all these different people with James Gibson knives, probably 4 or 5 or 6. And there was one that my buddy Rick Stowe had that really, like, I really liked it. And so I just put the little birdie in Mr. Gibson's ear, like, man, I'd really like one of those knives like what Rick has. And he said, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah, that's a really amazing design, and it just, I really think it's beautiful. And I didn't think anything of it. And sometime, this year, like, maybe it was like towards the end of the summer, I'd seen someone post up on Facebook in some bushcraft group about, show your Gibson knives. And I was like, dang, these are so... Anyways, I'm rambling, but I reached out to him, and he said, I was just thinking about that. And he said, I'm getting started on one. And so time went by, and he sent me photos of, hey, is this what you're thinking? And oh my gosh, is it exactly what I was thinking and more? And he's like, all right, I'll have this ready for it at Georgia. And I was like, consider it sold. And so I came away with this knife. And I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time remembering what the name of it is called. I want to say he said it was called the Pack Rat, but I know he said that every one of his knives are all, because they're handmade, they're all custom. So this one's a little bit longer than the one that I saw that Rick had, but it's got moose palm handles, which, for those of you that don't know, the section of the antler of the moose, that huge section of the paddle of their antler, is called a palm, moose palm. And then black and red liners. He said that the moose palm handle, that it got a little thinner than what he was wanting, and so he put the liners in there, and I really like it. It's got copper pins, like riveted over pins, lanyard tubes, or copper tubes. And I think he said it's, I know it's a high carbon steel. I think it's 1084, but yeah, he does it all. Like, he forges. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the sheath is just a thing of artwork. It's a pattern that he said that he just does, but it's that samey style traditional puko sheath with, like, the pucker seam down the middle, a brass ring that you can just wear on your belt or as a neck knife. And then he does the traditional method of carving wood that this snaps into, and he wraps the leather around the wood and wet forms it, so that's what gives it that retention that you hear, that doesn't allow it to come out. So it's beautiful. I will cherish this forever. And yeah, he's a very special person, and one of the most skilled people in our community. He can flint knap like nobody's business. He can carve spoons that are just paper thin, kuksas that are beautiful. He makes knives. He can knock out hand drill embers left and right, bow drill, makes bushcraft chairs and tables. I mean, he is truly like a Renaissance outdoorsman, man, like a Renaissance man of the outdoors. So very blessed to have been able to buy this from him and help support him. That's big for me, you know. So I'm going to finish my cup of coffee and wrap this up. I'm leaving with some irritability, you know. It's just hard, man. Patience with just constant nagging stuff like airplanes and me not being able to, you know, today's just everything's been a struggle. But I'm grateful for those days because it makes me better, you know. I no longer look at days as a win or a loss, you know. The Lord woke me up and gave me breath, and I was able to come out here and enjoy this day off doing this and sharing it with y'all. And for that, I'm grateful. And that's how I have to look at stuff, and that's what's best for me now. And you know, I know I'm blessed. Whenever I come out here, it's a blessing. The Lord's blessing me. So have a good one, everybody. Thank you for watching and sticking to the end of the video. Got a lot more fun stuff to share, and as it gets colder and colder, I'm going to start working on some projects and stuff out here, some big projects. So wanted to share all that with y'all today and hope you enjoy it. So have a good one, everybody. Remember, get outside and enjoy the woods. Thanks for watching.